Hello and welcome to A Woman's Heart. We are in for a really big treat today. I am so excited to share with you Lady Jen Du Plessis. We have a mutual friend. That's how we got connected. And I am so happy and honored to have you on the show, Lady Jen. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure. It's a delight to be here. And one of the things I love saying is that my goal is to give you as much information and inspiration in the time that we have together.
Mhm.
That's my goal.
Wonderful. That is
Yeah.
great. I love that. And I am sure that we're going to have a lot of that today. And first of all, though, I love for my audience to get to know you a little bit. So tell us a little bit about yourself and something fun that may not normally be in your bio.
Well, a little bit about myself is that I'm one of 36 first cousins,
Oh,
big
wow.
Catholic family. I'm the seventh oldest, and I was known as Jenny who ain't got a penny. All of us had nicknames: Gene the Machine,
Mm.
Dan the Man, right? And mine was Jenny who ain't got a penny. So my entire life was the earlier part, not like my life is over, but my entire life was spent proving to people that I'm not Jenny who ain't got a penny.
Yeah.
And until I had, an epiphany and said, what, I'm done proving and I'm going to start living. And so that's what my whole life is about.
Yeah.
All encapsulated by just a nickname that was given to me when I was a little girl.
Mm.
So yeah, that's it. So now what's so fun about, I don't know, there's so many fun things. Let me tell you one thing that I don't share that often is that I am a expert marks woman.
Oh,
I'm on
okay.
a shooting team and I'm the rifle girl.
Oh, my.
I am
Okay.
so precise, right? At that. And my dad was a cowboy, and so I was raised with guns around and everything because he was always shooting deer and elk and whatever else he was
Mhm.
doing, and that's what we ate that. And so I picked it up early. My 16th birthday, he gave me a 22 rifle,
Mm.
and now I have multitudes of those. But yeah, I shoot with something called a 410 over and under. It's a shotgun, and yeah, I'm
Okay.
one of the best people on the team.
Very good. Well, congratulations. That is
Yeah.
something that I did not know
No,
about
I
you.
thought it would
And
surprise you because you thought
yes,
I was
it
going to talk
did.
about something else.
Exactly. Yeah, we had already talked about some other fun things in your
Hmm.
life. And no, I was not expecting the marksmanship. So
Yeah,
congratulations.
thank you.
Very good. And what you mentioned that you would love for people to get some information and some inspiration from
Yes.
our conversation. Is there
Yeah.
anything else that you're more specific that you're really hoping people will get when they listen in to our conversation today?
Again, I'm going to go back to inspiration. Often people, when I'm flying and speaking all over the world, I say, well, I'm a professional speaker. And they say, oh, are you a motivational speaker? And my answer is always, oh, I hope not. Because motivation is short lived. It's something that we seek, right?
Hmm.
I need to be motivated. So I'll go to a seminar, I'll listen to a podcast. I need some motivation. And it goes away, it diminishes over time.
Yeah.
Inspiration is an inside job. So my hope is that whatever you're hearing now changes your life, shifts your life, has you talking about it later because it made such an impact.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I would say that's an interesting observation between the motivation and the inspiration because I know
Mhm.
at one point I went to a conference and they talked about how, this is great, but working on your attitude and your mindset is not a one and done. It's like bathing or
Mhm.
eating. You have to do it every single day because you wouldn't just take one bath and go, okay, I took a bath and then never take one again. I mean,
Right.
now you did, but people probably wouldn't want to be around you very long.
Right.
But that whole idea of like the motivation is yeah, you would have to kind of do it every single day to keep it
Yeah,
going
well,
versus
motivation is a push, right? Push
hmm
you to be motivated, push you to get something done. Whereas
yeah.
inspiration is a pull. It's a God-given pull, right?
Mhm.
It's something
Yeah.
that God's already calling you to do, and nothing will get in your way. So you wake up springing out of bed every day, going, "What's next? What's next?" Not,
Mm.
"Oh, my back hurts. I don't know what I'm gonna, maybe I'll just sleep today. Maybe I'll watch some motivational video."
Mm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, versus the other. Now, and you mentioned that, I'm thinking of when you said you had the nickname, the Jenny who hadn't gotten a penny, and trying to prove to everybody until you had an epiphany. And
Mhm.
then I imagine that was like that difference too between feeling driven and striving versus working more from that internal. I would love for you to tell us, some about
Yeah,
that
yeah.
epiphany and what helped make that switch for you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to go back to Jenny who ain't got a penny, what made it even worse, and of course my uncles would call me that, and I carried a penny in my shoe and I would pull it out and say, "No, I have a penny." I didn't understand. And I don't think it was ill-intended.
Mm.
Well, it was because I'm going to tell you about that. But I didn't think it was ill-intended. I thought it was a joke. So I just carried pennies. And I carried them until about 12 years ago because I always want to be reminded I'm not that. But then I found it was a crutch and I took it out, right? Because I don't want to be reminded that it was that. But to make matters worse, my father was an alcoholic and my mother was a verbal abuser, and I was an only child. So I got the brunt of everything. And I
Yeah.
shielded myself from everyone, and I put up this armor, and I speak about sovereign leadership a lot, right? I put up this armor that I don't want anyone to know that he's a drunk. I don't want anyone to know that she's yelling at me and telling me whatever, all the things that I'm doing wrong and I'm not perfect and I'm not this, that, and the other. So I was proving. I literally had to prove. And my uncle said to me, you're going to be just like them because that's what happens in the life. If your dad's an alcoholic, so are you. If they're poor, so are you. If you verbally abuse, so are you. And I converted that into workaholic, right? I
Okay.
took that because I'm proving in my professional career, had to be the best. I had to prove I was better. I would do more than everybody else to prove. And I said I would never be an alcoholic, but I ended up being a workaholic.
It's still an addiction.
Yes. I just shifted it, right?
Yeah.
I shifted it.
Yeah.
And so one night I went to dinner with my family. If you're not watching, I'm doing air quotes. Uh-huh. Sure. I'm an entrepreneur and I go to dinner with my family,
Yeah.
but I wasn't there. Right. I got a phone call, just as that we're told, they tell us pick up the phone, get the business. And so I got the business and I went outside and I told my husband before I went outside, I said, look, I'm gonna be 5 minutes. I promise I won't be more than 5 minutes. I knew I was lying. I knew
Mm.
it wasn't true. He knew it wasn't true. I went out and now I'm all angst, right? Everything in my heart's just pounding. I'm feeling the pressure.
Yeah.
And I'm walking what I call the concrete balance beam, right? And you all know what that is. You're talking on the phone and you're walking on the curb, right?
Hmm.
Where the bumpers are for the cars. You're
Yeah.
walking the curb and I'm pirouetting as I turn, right? And I'm doing all, and I'm even opening the door for people and covering my phone at that because it was an older phone, covering my phone and saying, "Oh, you're really going to like this place. It's great. Uh-huh. Can I help you? Yeah, I can help you, client. Nice. Uh-huh." Not paying attention to my client, not paying attention to myself, right? I'm all angst, not paying attention to my family, knowing they're going to get mad at me. And I looked over into the window and I saw my husband, and he and the kids were doing little spitballs with straws, right? And they
Mm.
were laughing and they were creating all these beautiful memories, and I wasn't in them.
Yeah.
And that was the moment I said, I'm done. I am done proving. I'm going to start living. There's got to be a better way to
Hmm.
do this. And that's when I started developing what I use in my practice, which is the shift from hustle to harmony.
Yeah.
I wanted harmony, but I was afraid of getting out of the hustle. Does that sound like anybody listening, right? Like you're afraid to get out of the hustle, afraid to get out of eating soup with a fork,
Yep.
right?
That was one
All
of
the
the things I brought
activities.
up.
Yes, all the activities, I'm doing the for the sake of doing it, but you're not full, you're not fulfilled, your pockets aren't filled, you're
Hmm.
just in the hustle. But the fear of that shift is, well, I might be in harmony, but will I still be able to generate revenue? And so I created, well, I
Yeah.
didn't, God did. God created, it was a God wink. Every time I typed harmony, I would type harmony and I would backspace and fix it. And then I went, okay, I get you. I hear
Okay.
you. I hear you. It is harmony. There is a way to run my business
Hmm.
without being in the hustle and to be in harmony and still produce. And this is what God wants us to do. God wants us to be successful and fruitful. He doesn't want us to be in hustle. He wanted, I imagine walking with Jesus, right? If I were one of the disciples, walking with Jesus, he wasn't like, we got to go here and then we got to go there and then we have to do this and we have to do that.
Yeah, no, I just don't imagine that. I mean,
He's in
they're
harmony.
going, it's purposeful. It's
It's the
not
harmony.
lazy, but it's not rushed or hurried or chaotic.
Right. It's harmony.
Yeah.
Right. It's harmony. And that's when I changed everything. And that's when I developed that, hustle to harmony process and method. And and things got even better,
Wow.
even better, way better.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, explosion better. And I was still in harmony.
Wow. Well, and I know your mantra is stop working in and on your business and start
Mhm.
living above and beyond that. And I would say that's from the business perspective, but how can we also use that in our faith walk? Because
Yeah.
sometimes we can use that hustle, that holy hustle, as, oh, we're
Hmm.
not just making money, we're working for the kingdom, we're doing a ministry, and we're working in our faith. And you end up doing all this stuff, but not really being at peace. And
No.
so, how would you take that into that faith perspective?
Yeah, well, it's more about presence, right?
Okay.
It's more about
Yeah.
presence for me. I learned this lesson from someone way back, I sent an email to all my colleagues and said, hey, if you had to describe me in 3 words, because this is how we used to do branding, if you could describe me in 3 words, what would they be? And all these beautiful accolades came back, all these great things. And inside of one of them were two beautiful accolades, but the third, he said, is not present.
Mm.
And I went, wait a minute. And I thought, well, I've got to get my big girl panties on. I've got to call him. And I said, hey, Chip, it's me. Thanks for all the great stuff, but I saw not present. Can you help me understand? He said, I was at an event with you that you had. And we had 70 people there. And I'm running around like a bride needing to say thank you to everybody.
Yeah.
And he said, I'd rather see you have two or three good conversations with someone where you've sat down and you've shared and you've learned about their life and you're present and you're giving and serving whatever their needs are, whatever building that relationship. And you didn't ever have to say hello to me, because that right there is what true relationships are about, right? So I think of my relationship with God the same way. It can't be, I'm just going to go to church and go through the motions of all the little prayers that they do there, and then we'll leave.
Yeah.
That's hustle.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It
Right.
is.
So I'm going to work in and on my scripture reading, my affirmations. I listen to a lot of podcasts on faith. So I'm listening to all of those pieces. And, God just has a way, even when we're scrolling through Instagram, that pops up some kind of quote, some kind of biblical, verse. And I needed that in that moment.
Yeah.
In hustle, you see it and you move on.
Hmm.
Now where we're in it, now we need to work on it. What does it mean to me today?
Yeah.
What does how can I apply it to everything that I'm doing? And
Hmm.
then when we make that leap of faith, which is the program that I have called Leap, right? It's that leap of faith going from in and on, because it's scary, right? It's like Peter walking on water, right? And he just didn't trust it. It's that leap of faith to be above, where now it's part of your life and it's
Hmm.
second nature.
Yeah.
And it allows you to serve well beyond what you felt you were capable of serving.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that is beautiful, and it kind of leads me into one of the other comments that I had written down, and on your podcast when you were talking to someone, I believe the words were, "How dare you not share your genius?"
Yeah.
And that whole thing, it kind of is like the don't hide your light under a bushel, use the gifts and talents that he's given you, but just how much, because I remember that and I was like, "Ooh, that's a good one. I want to remember that." Is,
Right.
how dare you not share your genius? Because I think so often, especially I think women are more susceptible to it, will not want to use our voice or be afraid to step
Mhm.
out for lots and lots of different reasons. And sometimes we need that inspiration from the inside to say, no, there's a reason why God has put that in your heart. And how dare you not share that? I would love for you to
Mhm.
encourage us a little bit more on that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like in Philip, Jesus looks down in the well and he says, "Get out of the well, let the light shine in," right?
Mm.
And Solomon,
Yeah.
look, Solomon was a speaker. He was a speaker, right? He didn't know what his topic was. He had no clue. He started talking to a few people. He started getting bigger crowds. People were coming from all over the place to hear him, right? And that's what we need to be. I look at the Bible and say, well, Ruth did this, so I should be like Ruth because she's a woman. No, I look at Solomon and say, I should be like that. I look at Peter and
Mm.
say, I should have more trust.
Yeah.
I look at all of them. So for me, it's not gender specific. I think that we all need to be giving people what they need in that moment, in the moment that they have. That's why we receive it from God in various places, meeting
Yeah.
a person, and
Hmm.
we needed it. How many times have you gone to church? Like I go to mass and I'm like, how did that reading know that I needed it today?
Hmm.
It happened this weekend, right? The
Yeah.
the pastor was talking about stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, I needed this so badly, right?
Yeah.
And so someone, and I have a prayer that I do every morning, and I say, Dear Lord, somewhere, someone out there is looking for my help. Please help me find them.
Hmm.
That's what I'm trying to do is say, who
Yeah.
needs my help, whether it's business help or it's spiritual help, right? They all tie together for me because my business is faith forward. So there's always going to be an innuendo that's
Yeah.
in there.
Hmm.
And it's okay if I can be me and they can be them, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to do these parables and these comparisons, and if they're not Christian, that's okay. They're still going to get the point,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know.
there's still wisdom in it.
Right. And so it's not so much I'm afraid to speak up. It's that it's already been assigned to you. It's
Hmm.
already been assigned to you. It's not random. There's nothing that God does, it's random. It's already been assigned to you and he's already prepared you.
Yeah.
So it's for you to get out of the well and let your light shine.
Hmm.
Speak up.
Yeah. Well, and for you, you've also talked about growing up in the background that you did. You had to put a lot of armor on and you
Mhm.
had to learn ways to poke holes in the armor. And I loved
Mhm.
that visual because
Yeah.
we can so easily we get hurt. We want to
Mhm.
protect ourselves. So it's kind of natural to like put that armor on and protect
Yeah.
ourselves.
Yeah.
But then you can get so armored up that it's not just protecting you from other people, it's keeping you in your own kind of little prison. I mean, it's just really
Absolutely it
holding
is.
you back and it's not just protecting you, it's keeping you from connection, which is
Right.
really what you feel like.
It's the difference between below the line and above the line with scarcity and
Mm,
abundance.
yeah.
So when people used to ask me, what can I help you with in your business? I go, I'm okay. I don't need anything. I'm good. I don't want to see them let them see me sweat. I don't want to show any weakness. I don't, so I'm just going to
Yeah.
pretend like everything's okay. So nope, I'm good. I don't need anything. I don't need anything. I'm living in abundance. Look at me when I was actually living in scarcity.
Ah.
When I poked the holes, and so the story about poking the holes, I don't know if you heard the whole thing, but it was poking holes. I was asked to speak at a women's event here in Northern Virginia, and it was the first time that I was going to share my Jenny Penny story. And all these people knew me as one thing, right? Like the armor and strong. And now I was going to be vulnerable. And I was so scared. And it was also the first time that I asked for a podium because I needed to hide behind it. My knees were shaking. Right? I was like, I'm taking this armor off and I need more armor. I need the podium, right? To protect
Yeah. Yeah.
and I didn't take it all off. I poked holes in it because it wasn't quite ready. It was still very emotional for me
Yeah.
to speak about it. But people just came up and it's like, oh my gosh, that's my story. That's my story. I didn't know that about you. Wow, that's beautiful. Da, da. And I thought, okay, so if I poke holes and my light starts shining through, it attracts people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm going to go do more of it. What else can I do? Right. I've since taken it off.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a very private person, so I choose not to say certain things, but it's
Mhm.
not for the coveting of anything. I'm a very open
Yeah.
book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Well,
but that's what
there's
kept
wisdom in
happening.
that.
Yeah. And it just, right. And so it just kept coming and coming. And that's why I said, after I made that decision at that restaurant to live and not prove, that it just accelerated because all of this was happening at the same time.
Oh, yeah. So God was working a lot at the time.
Yes. He had a lot of work
He
to
was
do.
moving a lot around. Oh my goodness. Well, late Jen, I'm sure there's so many. We have not even touched on half of the notes that I had come up. But real quick, before I ask my final question, is there something on your heart that you wanted to share that I haven't asked you about?
um, yeah, if we're going to end, are you still going to ask me the question?
Oh yeah,
Okay,
I
all
still
right.
have the final question.
Okay, so let me share this poem. Okay.
Okay.
And I thought it was my mom's. I later found out it's an actual poet, and it's only an excerpt from a poem that she has, and her name is Ellen Wilcox Wheeler or Wheeler Wilcox. I can never remember.
Okay.
But it goes like this: We flatter those we scarcely know. We please the fleeting guest, but we deal many a thoughtless blow to those we love the best.
Mm,
And in business, I'm always telling
yeah.
people be as good to you as you are to that business. Don't allow the hustle to sucker you in, right? Be as good to yourself first,
Yeah.
to everything that you have that you hold true first.
Hmm.
Then the business will come. And I promise when you do that, when you put God first, when you put family first and your faith first, and everyone says they do, right?
Yeah, but
But
does your
when
calendar say the same story?
right, when you actually do, the business will flow, right?
Mm-hmm.
The money will flow, the relationships will flow, the connections will flow, helping clients will flow. It'll all come together. But when you're fighting it,
Yeah.
right? When you're fighting all of that and you're trying to be true to all these other people and not to yourself, that's when the trouble happens. So don't deal a thoughtless blow to yourself or to family members over the fleeting guest.
Yeah. No, I think that is really, really wise. I think there's a lot to that. And when you said that, I was like, oh, yeah, we do tend to say thoughtless things to those people that are closest to us because we kind of take them for granted or take it
Oh yeah. Oh gosh. I mean, I
so
can't tell you
easy
how
to do.
many times I was on the phone with my kids. I became a verbal abuser, right? I was like, I was on the phone with a client and I go, yes, 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 and covered up and go to my daughter, you be quiet. I'm doing this for you.
Yeah.
You have all this stuff because I'm on the phone. Now
Yeah.
you be quiet. Hello. That sounds great, right? I was dealing those
Yeah.
and I became that verbal abuser because I was proving.
Yeah. 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 Well, and your whole career has been kind of like encouraging those people not to be sucked into the hustle and to go more
Right.
for harmony. And this is something that God has given to you. And I would love to ask, what would you say to encourage someone else to pursue the passion that God has placed in their heart?
Yeah. So, what I would say is the desire you feel isn't random. Like, listen to our guts, listen to our intuition. It's assigned to you. So, when it's begging at you or pecking at you or winking at you, when I was typing harmony, when it's winking at you, that's not random. It's already assigned to you. And we dismiss this so often, right? But it's just maybe it's too risky. Maybe it's too big, maybe it's too inconvenient, but I'm telling you, it's a calling.
Mm,
This is your calling. And here's the truth: you don't get clarity before you move. Okay. You don't get clarity on what's being told to you before you move. You get clarity because you move.
okay.
So it
Good.
isn't, am I ready? It's the better question is, am I willing? Am I willing to step into what's being received?
Hmm. Yeah.
And willing to take that one step, willing to feel fully prepared that it's a quantum leap, right? I
Yeah.
know I'm going there. I just don't know how I'm getting there, but I'm going to trust in God and I'm going to walk the path with him.
Yeah. Yeah. And just do that one next step because
Mhm.
he very rarely gives us the whole blueprint. But he'll give
Oh
us
no.
like,
No.
chances are we might not want to do it
Are
if he
you
gave us the
sure?
whole
Are you
blueprint.
sure, God? Are you sure that I should? Are
Or
you
that's like,
sure?
yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. I don't
I
know.
just saw it. It's so funny. I just saw on Instagram where the woman is sitting in the car. She's sitting in the passenger seat and she goes, "No, you go ahead, Jesus. You take the wheel." And she goes, "Should we go that way? No, wait, no, no, you take the wheel." Right. It is the most hilarious thing, but it's so true.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I think I've laughed a lot. Joyce Meyer used to say the problem with a living sacrifice is it keeps crawling off the altar.
Right.
And we're like, okay, here you are, here I am, Lord. And you go, no, 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 wait a minute. I'm gonna go over here.
That's hilarious. That's
Yeah.
hilarious. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so true.
It
That's
is. It is very true. Well,
mhm,
Jen, if somebody is interested in following you, connecting with you, you've
mhm.
got multiple podcasts, you speak, you've written several
All over
books.
the
If
place.
they are looking for some more resources and
Yeah.
that, where is the best way for them to connect with you?
Yeah, the best way is just to simply go to ladyjenduplessis.com and
Okay.
you'll find all kinds of information there. And we have links to all my social. It's all Lady Jen. Now, a few of them still say Jen because we can't change the name. I don't know which one of
Okay.
those communities doesn't let
Okay.
you do it, but yeah, you'll find all that information there. And my husband and I do a little joint thing together called Laugh Yourself to a Healthy Marriage.
Hmm.
We're about ready to celebrate 43 years in a couple of months. And we've just realized that, sometimes in marriage, you just have to laugh. You just have to
Yeah.
laugh, and especially
Yeah.
with what he's gone through, in the last 6 years and stuff. And so we do that for people too, if they, are interested in having us come in and talk about how our marriages, so many people ask us, what's the secret? And I won't give the secret. I say it's my secret. Because if I told you communication and you need romance,
Mm.
you wouldn't be successful. If I told you it was faith and you just need communication, it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
So you have to figure out what it's going to be. But we give you some tips on how we've stayed. We're high school sweethearts. We met when we were 14 and 15,
Oh,
and
wow.
tips on how. And now we're 62, right? So we're some tips and pointers that we've done to keep it fresh, to keep it, where it needs to go, but not one, multitudes.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, we will include that website in the show notes and encourage people to check that out. And Jen, thank you so
Yes,
much
thank you so
for
much,
your
Lisa.
time and your inspiration and your encouragement. It's been a blessing.
Okay, did you
And
get inspiration?
yes,
Okay.
yes. Thank you so much. And we just really appreciate you spending time with us today.